The As Is podcast does not necessarily hold the views or opinions of our guests. The guests have a right to express their own thoughts, and those thoughts are protected with their freedom of speech. What they say is what they say, and we allow them the right to speak on their own behalf. The As Is podcast is not responsible nor liable for the opinions and stories of others. Welcome to another edition of the As Is podcast. Today is going to be different. I am going to let what's said be said. I don't want this to seem like this is a personal attack on anyone, because it actually isn't. It is an attack on those who portray to be something that they aren't. I have a serious problem with that. And I have a serious problem with people who participate in certain lifestyles and then you're not man enough to deal with that lifestyle. So I'm going to let my guest introduce himself. Why don't you introduce yourself, brother?
My name is Johnny Bunting Jr., a.k.a. The Force.
Man, thank you for being on my show. Thank you for what you're about to say and what you're about to do. Let's start off like this. Let's get some background history on you. And I don't want to get the typical background history like most people do, like if you're a record, if you're an artist and how many records you sold and this, that, and the other. That's great information, but I could care less about that. I want to know about the person. So start me off and tell me, what is your background from the streets?
Well, I was a drug dealer.
Okay.
Bad boy, if you will. Toted guns, participated in shootouts and beat downs and things, and regular stuff. This is from the 80s. This is the era.
Okay.
My actual era was 86 to 89.
Okay.
Really 87 to 89, because I really got like 2 years out in the streets acting like a fool.
Okay.
Selling drugs, toting guns, the occasional driving, the occasional stolen car, It has a code though. When you participate in that life, it's like a unwritten agreement. Like there's no signed papers, no contracts, or none of that. But when you get into it, you know that there's a rule.
Right.
There are rules in this life.
Right.
So I was introduced to it early because I had family members that was participating in it, and they told me there's certain things you don't do.
Right. Break that down so our listeners can understand your mentality and what the rules are.
For instance, when you're selling drugs,
right,
the police is after you because you're doing something illegal.
Right.
You got stick-up kids that's after you because you're making extra money and they want some money.
Right.
You got on a other side of the spectrum, you have the gold diggers and the family members that's trying to con you. You got people coming at you from all different angles.
Right.
So you have to navigate through the minefield, if you will.
Right.
And when you are into that life, you can't in turn say, okay, well, I'm selling drugs and the stick-up kid robbed me. I'm going to call the police on the stick-up kid.
Right.
No, you got to hold that down.
Right.
Because he's doing something illegal. You're doing something illegal that you're handling in the street.
Right.
Personally, I got robbed. I ended up coming to prison because somebody robbed me and I killed him.
Right.
Now, I'm not making light of the situation. I'm just giving it to you just in a nutshell.
Give it to me raw. That's how it's supposed to be. This is as is, man. This ain't Ebony. This ain't double XL. This ain't none of that other shit. This is as is. This is just the way it is, period.
That's the way it is. So those are the ramifications. Those are the repercussions of those choices that you make. Right. If you chose to pick up a gun when it comes time for the cuffs, take it like a man.
Right.
You want to sling them quarters, nickels, keys, whatever. When it comes time to face the music, face it like a man.
Right.
Some people, they go in it with a game plan. And it's like, listen, I'm going to ball till I fall. I'm going to make as much money as I can. I'm going to get drug money, stick up money, con money, whatever. And then when they come with the cuffs, I'm going to tell.
Right.
That's foul ball. For
Right.
some people, that's their way. That's their strategy.
Right.
And then if people don't know about this, these frauds will go on to glorify themselves, and because they was legitimately in the life,
Right.
they can say certain things and say certain names, and if you don't know that they went foul, they end up with credibility.
Right.
So when people go afoul, they gotta be exposed. Everybody don't care. Like what I mean by that is you have some people that they're squares.
Right.
And they're like, well, listen, you're supposed to tell the police. And even if someone snitches, they're like, well, listen, they were supposed to tell anyway, so they don't care.
Right.
To each his own. I'm not negating their opinion.
Right.
I'm just saying from the side of the coin where you was doing wrong, you need to abide by those rules.
Right. Let me
When you
interject.
did,
Let me
huh?
interject. Let me just interject my opinion of what snitching is and isn't. First and foremost, if you're a law-abiding, tax-paying citizen and you commit no crimes and you're not a part of the lifestyle, you are a snitch. You have an obligation to do your civic duty to tell if you see something wrong because you're not a part of that life. However,
Yes.
if you decide to take part in the game, and the game can be sticking up, selling drugs, pimping, prostitution, writing checks, credit cards, anything illegal, you are now a native of the game. The square rules or America's mainstream rules no longer applies to you. So you have an entirely different hand. So there are some things that you can and you can't do. So I do agree, in my opinion, that if you tell, there's nothing wrong with that if you're an honest, law-abiding citizen. That is your civic duty. But if you out there doing dirt, you can't tell.
Well said.
Okay.
So now I've been on other platforms because it was brought out that a brother named Arthur Alston, who goes by the stage name, aka of Choke No Joke, told. Let me,
Oh my God.
I don't.
Wait, hold
I
up,
can't
hold
tell you.
up. Like, yo, dog, before you even
You
go
know,
there, this shit is funny to me. Like, the shit is comical to me. And here's why it's comical to me. Because at the end of the day, I feel like, dog, if you're gonna do what you're gonna do, you better have your backyard cleaned. And I can never understand a person who has skeletons in the closet and you gonna come outside, don't think nobody gonna do their homework, especially when you try to make the noise that you make and you try to get in bed with people of that lifestyle. I am of that lifestyle. I do not participate in anything illegal. However, I've built my company and my foundation off of that lifestyle. I am you, homie. I am the nigga sitting in jail. That is what I come from. I choose to do something different. However, I still keep those principles with me. So when you decide that you want to mess with me, or play games or be something that you're not, best believe somebody is going to tell me, and that is exactly what happened. And I'm giving you this story now before you say what you say, simply because I did that brother's show. That brother committed to doing my show. However, after I did his show, the next day, my phone started ringing. Niggas was my phone started ringing. Like, I ain't lying to you, homie. Like, niggas is like, yo, son. I'm like, what? Like, yo, you know that nigga's a snitch? He a rat. I'm like, what? Yo, dog, that nigga's a rat. Like, nigga, get the fuck out of here. Because you always hear shit like that on niggas. Like, so, niggas say all kinds of shit just to discredit a nigga. So just for the sake of it, I'm going to keep it 100. It wasn't for the sake of shit. It was for the sake of that I made a big-ass mistake, and I said to myself, yo, Baz, you slipping. And you let other people see you slipping. Whether that nigga's a rat or not, I got on his show, so I didn't do my due diligence in investigating this nigga.
exactly.
And I fucked up. And I'm not ashamed to say I fucked up. But we gonna correct that shit tonight. So, with that being said, please continue.
All right. I don't know how many ounces, keys, or dimes this motherfucker sold.
Right.
Um, but I know he sold some because I helped put him on his feet one of the times when he was walking around scuffing his fucking nights on the curb. So um,
Wow.
let's put it in a nutshell. He is an older version of what he was before, and that's a bitch. He's
Wow.
he's he's just the older version of the same bitch that he was back then.
Well, you know what? Before we go with the name calling and all that, you feel how you feel. You say whatever you want to say, but I want the people to understand why you're saying it. So why don't you tell us why you're saying this before you
Yeah,
just say it?
I'm going to go into that because
Okay,
I don't just shitting on a dude for the sake of just trying to be comical or trying to be insulting.
understood.
Um, his characteristics are similar. This is what he used to do. He's one of them dudes that we out there selling drugs,
Right,
and I had an area where it was limited amount of who could sell out there.
right.
So I had my work. These other guys had their work. It was basically us, my crew, and their crew in this area.
Okay.
Now, my co-defendant,
Dog, hold
who
on. I gotta stop you one more time. Yo, just for the sake of being transparent and authentic, you gotta name the block, dog. Because when we come, if you're gonna come with what you're getting ready to come with, yo, you don't leave no room for a nigga to wiggle up out of it. What was the block
okay,
you had?
all right, it was called it was Eden One Projects.
Okay.
The the the, the strip was called Bum Square
Okay.
or Bum Hill.
Right.
They called it Bum Square or Bum Hill.
Okay. Cool.
It was a square of four three-story buildings, and it had a courtyard in between the four buildings and a walkway that you could walk to pass the buildings on your way to 225th to the south and to 227 Drive to the north of it.
Okay. Cool.
So my my crew and another crew, we were basically sharing the area.
All right.
Um, Anybody else come up there subjected to get hurt unless you basically we agreed to allow you there because it wasn't like you had to ask permission. You come up there and see what happens.
Right. I got it.
Oh, and so my boy who ended up being my co-defendant came to me because they were cool with Arthur Artie. We called him Artie, but this is Choke for the sake of saying who it is Choke.
Okay.
And so he came was like, yo, listen, he needs some money. He need to get on.
Okay.
I was like, yeah, I don't really know him because I didn't know him. I knew who he was, but I didn't hang out with him.
Right.
So it's like, yo, I said, you know what I'll do? I'll lend him something to get a half an ounce, not a half a key.
Okay.
Boom. Um, just let you know that he was small Paul, and um, so if he ended up doing anything bigger than that, then that was on him. But I helped him out, get a couple of dollars in his pocket.
Okay.
But I said, listen, this is you. You can sell up here.
Okay.
So I can make sure, I guarantee I'm going to get my money because I know you can sell here.
Right.
The building that he lived in was one of the powerhouse buildings
Okay.
of the projects. It was, but he had no name on the building.
Okay.
A lot of people could come out there and stand out there and sell, but you had certain names that just carried more weight as far as clientele.
Right.
His name wasn't one of them.
Okay.
So I don't know, you know, where he was at as far as whether he could get consignment from this, that, and the other. But if he could do all that well, why the hell was he barking up my tree? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, at any rate, he was the dude that stand around there and gossip and make jokes and all this. So, and talk about the shorties and this, that, and the third.
Okay.
Now, um, this is the way we saw it then. I don't know how they see it now. But
Right.
when you got somebody that's just standing around gossiping, clowning, and all this stuff, You look at him as a clown or a villain, because you just sitting around talking about people. And then look, he's 51 now, and he's doing the same shit.
Right.
So he ain't elevate much in over 30 years.
Right.
Now, all right, we had a little issue over somebody got arrested on the other crew.
Okay. What did they get
And
arrested for?
some drugs.
Okay. Let me give you this one more thing too. I got to give you my disclaimer. Although we're doing this interview and it's exclusive and you're going to say what you're going to say, if I ask you a question that you feel that you do not want to you do not want to answer, you do not have to. But I'm going to ask. I'm not the feds. I'm not the police. I don't give a fuck what nobody think about none of that. But I am a journalist and I'm gonna do my job. But if it makes you feel uncomfortable or you don't want to reveal someone's name, don't.
All right. Well, I'm gonna do this as a prelude.
Okay.
I will say my name. I will say his name, Choke, and I will say my co-defendant name,
Okay.
Dennis, because that's
Say his name
in the
again. The
paper.
co-defendant's name.
Yeah, yeah.
What's his
So
name?
that is Dennis Jackson.
Okay, Dennis Jackson. Okay,
Anybody else that participated, I'm not saying anything.
fine, no problem.
That's just the way it is. That even though it's the statute of limitations for drugs is long gone, it's you don't do real motherfuckers don't do it.
You ain't
Person
gotta
from
you ain't gotta explain that shit, nigga. What's wrong with you? I respect it. I
no.
get it. I know. Like in my audience, they definitely get it. I respect it, nigga. Don't explain that shit. Just let's get
No,
to the
but that's for
story.
that's for the audience. That's for the audience. So
Okay,
they'd
all
be
right,
like,
cool. Respect. I salute that. Cool.
so somebody got arrested from the other crew. They needed to make some bail money.
Right.
So dude came to me. He was like, "Yo, listen, such and such got arrested. Boom, I need to grind. I need to make this bail money."
Okay.
And as a G, I looked at it, and I was 17 at the time.
Right.
I was like, you know what? I'm going. Do your thing. Because the dude was cool with me. I wasn't putting no money to get him bailed out. So my other resort was, okay, I'm not going to block the money that y'all making to get him out.
Right.
So I took my boys off the block.
Right.
I thought that was like a gentleman move, but
Honorable.
in hindsight, I think it was looked at as soft.
Nah, son. No.
No, I'm saying because I'm gonna tell you what happened after.
Okay.
Soon thereafter, the boss, because that was like a lieutenant that told me that. So soon thereafter, the boss, which me and him was cool, came to the block, and it was like a day or two after. So he was like, "Yo, Force, let me holler at you." So I'm like, "What's up?" He like, "Yo, listen, man, if you want to get money, you want to work for me, you come get a package. If not, you can't be out here no more."
Wow.
So I was, in my head, it's like, what? Like, I just did something for y'all motherfuckers. So I was like stuck for a second. And he's like, yo, you don't have to answer right now. I was like, no, I can answer right now. He's like, so what's up? When you going to bring your package? I said, I'm not bringing nothing. Bring your guns out.
Right.
So he was like, you know what? I'm going to take my work off the block for the day. I was like, all right, go ahead and do that. Like, shit, I did it for you.
Right.
Boom. So he took us, he said, well, tomorrow you can't be. Okay, cool. We'll see you tomorrow. So he took his shit off the block. We did our thing. The next day, he ain't, like I said, he was the boss. He wasn't pumping no packages or nothing. I was one of them bosses that I can be out there selling drugs with the guys that work for me. Some of these other bosses didn't do that. I was 17. I was still in it. Like,
Right. It was a thrill, the
so,
addictiveness of it.
right.
I know. I know, son. I know.
So I'm out there and I'm like, yo, and the guys that work for him was cool with me, but now you done set the stage for a war. So I'm like, yo, now we got to run these dudes off the block. Even though they're cool with us, this dude started some shit.
Right.
So we run the motherfuckers off the block.
Right.
A few days go by, I relent because, like I said, these guys is cool with me. So about a week later, we're all on the block again together. Us, the guys that work for him, back to you know, harmony, if you will call it that. Ain't nothing, nothing. Boom. Now, I don't know the exact timeline, like a week, 2 weeks. I just know sometime after that, um, a brother come through in a car, Maxima or something. He come through. I never saw him before. He
Okay.
like, yo, I just came home. Like he did a big yo, but he's copping.
Right.
So he's talking like he's a gangster and all this. All right, well, you copping, man. I don't give a fuck what you doing, but you copping crack.
Right.
Boom. So he was going back and forth. Um, I was getting ready to leave, so he pulled up again, but he was with somebody else that I knew that I done had conflict with in the past, but we pretty much back then it's similar to even now. You have a fight with somebody, this, that, and the third, everything squashed. You have no more beef. So now you see somebody, y'all had a history, but y'all ain't got nothing now.
Right.
So this dude comes up with this dude. They come together. So I was getting ready to leave, and I was just stepping out the building, and I seen him. I was like, yo, y'all hold me down. I'll serve them.
Right.
Coming to the building, we had a little stash above the door. There was a crevice at the top of the door where you could put the work in.
Right.
So I let them get past me into the hallway. I turned my back on them to go up in the stash. Boom. Dude hits me in the eye. Bam. When I turn around to a right cross. Bam.
Wow.
I dropped the package. My first instinct is pick up the package. So
Wow.
before I even thought about swinging back or anything, I pick up the package. One of them grabbed me in a headlock, and the guy hit me in the same eye again. Bam. Boom. We bust out. We back out of the building because we back through the door. So now my boys is outside. Boom. I picked the dude up who was holding me. I slam him. Um, I get at the dude that punched me, and a knife falls out. Now there was before I picked the dude up, they was digging in my pocket. So I had a lot of money in my pocket. So the money wasn't rubber band or nothing. So once he pulled it out, he didn't get a grip on it. So now money's all over the place
Right.
on the floor.
Right.
So I put this dude up against the fence, a knife fall out. I grabbed the knife, I hit him in the chest. The knife was bullshit. It was one of them bullshit kitchen knives. The knife didn't go in, the knife bent.
Wow.
Boom. So I, I tossed the knife. I start my boys, jump into action. So now instead of me being jumped, we're the one doing the jumping because now we got numbers. Um, we run the dudes off the block.
Okay.
The dude runs. He comes back with his car. The gangster talking motherfucker. He comes back with his car. He tries to hit me with it. I jump a fence. I get clipped by the car though. I fall, but they get away. I'm saying this to tell you the story, but also to drop a jewel.
Okay.
My uncle came up the block, and I saw him, and I said, "Yo, when you see Cat, tell him I'm a murderer."
Okay.
Boom, because Cat was the brother that I already had issues with before. So
Right.
we already beat him down and stuff like that for violating the new dude with the car. I never knew him before. So to me, you do what the fuck you want to do because I don't know you.
Right.
The dude who I had issues with, you should know I'm not the one to fuck with.
Right.
So um about 20 minutes later, the dude with the cars at the corner at a stoplight talking like he ain't just violated a motherfucker.
Wow.
I, I had went upstairs and I got a real knife. Um, I didn't live there, but my co-defendant lived in Bum Square. I lived in a private house, but my
Okay.
co-defendant lived in Bum Square. So, boom, we was at the pizza shop. Somebody told me the Maximo was down a block. I seen it. I ran there. I ran down there. He was talking to a couple of guards that I knew. Um, they didn't know what was going on. It wasn't like they set him up or nothing. It was just, happenstance that he was talking to them, and I saw the car and I ran up on it on the driver's side, and I hit him in the chest for real this time, and it went in.
Right.
I didn't kill him though.
Okay.
He murked off. He crashed. I guess the crash saved his life because the ambulance came for the crash and all that. Boom, boom, boom. Like I said, he claimed he just got out. He wasn't supposed to be driving, so
Right.
he has a crash. Next, he's back in jail.
Okay.
So he's out of the picture immediately.
Okay.
Um, this other dude, that cat, the one I had the issues with, I don't see him for like another month and a half. I hadn't seen him. So by the time I run into him again, now I got this motherfucker riding with me, Choke, and he didn't have a car.
Okay.
Now, this is not the shit on him because most teenagers our age didn't have a car.
Right.
I had a car. I was 17. I was probably one of a handful of teenagers who had a car in that area.
Right.
So you see a teenager. There was a couple of other brothers, but they was in their 20s. So there was like probably me and my cousin. We both had cars, but he had got locked up. And I can't think of nobody else in their teens that had a car. Everybody else was like 20, 21 and up.
Okay.
Any rate, so now you're dealing with me and I'm allowing you to drive my car. So that's, even though him and I aren't tight, that's still a privilege that you're giving to someone that you don't just give to anybody.
Right.
So it's like a show and love. Like, yo, listen, I'm trusting you. I'm allowing you. You can rock my car. It was a Honda Accord. It wasn't a Benz, a Beamer, or none of that. I drive those now.
Right.
But back then, I didn't have it like that.
Right.
But it beats the guys who was walking
But
around
son,
with
some things. Hold
Pumas.
up. Not to interrupt you. Like all that shit, you ain't got to go through all that shit. Like niggas know that. Real niggas know what it is. Like so, you don't have to. Whether it was a Benz or whatever, nigga, you had a car. So
But everybody ain't real. Everybody ain't real.
But everybody that ain't real really don't fuck with me. So I don't really give a fuck about what they feel. Like so, let's skip all that bullshit. Like if
All
you
right.
like get to the point, nigga.
All right. Boom. So, I'm just painting a picture of how, although him and I weren't sleeping at each other's house,
Right.
I was treating him with an endearment that someone could say, yo, that's his man.
Right.
He's driving. Oh, see what I'm saying?
Right. I know how the game goes, son. That's how the niggas treat niggas like that when we all fuck with each other on the block. I've been on the block. I know. That's what I'm saying. You wasting your breath with that part. I want to hear about this other shit. But go ahead.
All right. So now, one early morning, I had lent in my car from the night before because I went and I laid up in a motel. So I lent in my car the night before. They wanted to go down to 8th Ave and bullshit.
Right.
When we met back up, somebody came and was like, "Yo, I seen Cat over here by the school."
So Cat is the dude that the other dude.
He's the deceased. The one
no, but that was the dude that you had beef with prior to because the one that you stabbed is back in jail. So there's one left. So this dude is who you're talking about.
Exactly.
Okay.
So, the dude tell me the Cat is over here on Baychester by the school, Sousa. So I'm driving at the time. So I'm like, all right, cool. I go over there. I see him. We chase him down, me and my co-defendant. Choke and the girl, because there was a girl with us. Choke and the girl stayed in the car. So the two females stayed in the car.
Son, you out of order. Yo, this nigga. Wow. All right.
So we chased the dude around the corner. My boy had a bat. I had the knife. Dude, my ankle was messed up, so I couldn't really run fast. So my co-defendant caught him, hit him with the bat, had him hemmed up. I caught up with him, and we started fighting. I hit him up, but it wasn't just me hitting him. It was an actual fight. The dude didn't go out like, just stab me. Boom. So we're going through fighting. We around the corner. The people in the car cannot see nothing that happened.
The people in the car
No,
are Choke and a young lady.
the chick and the female.
Okay.
They don't see nothing that happened. They see us run around the corner, see us come back. Now I had blood drops on my shirt. Boom. We get in. Now Choke had taken the car and he drove past and he went up the block. So he moved the car. He went up the block, but he still moved the car. He passed the area. So when he passed the area, he could have saw something in passing. Or if he got stopped at a light, he could have saw. But
Did he
going
see?
past,
Did he see, or you don't know if he's seen or not?
I don't know if he's seen because he never stated anything to reveal that he actually saw. He never said nothing to give evidence that he actually saw anything.
Okay.
Boom. So he goes up the block. Where he was parked at was out of the line of sight.
Okay.
So we ran up the block, got in the car, jetted. Now, my name was known. I was known in the neighborhood.
Right.
Um, when shortly after that occurred, and I'm going by my paperwork because
Okay.
you know,
And that is an
um,
excellent, not to interject, but I have to. That is an excellent statement that you just made, because with what you're saying, the first thing that's going to come to a person's mind, especially from the streets, is where is the paperwork? So I'm glad you put an emphasis on your reading from your paperwork, because we're also going to find a way to actually, I want you to post that paperwork so people can come back and see it. Is that cool?
it's connected already to my YouTube page.
Okay, that's cool. All right, I'm sorry. Now let me go back to where you was. According to your paperwork.
So according to my paperwork, when the police uh, um, went to the deceased family's house, the family said, "Well, this lady came, knocked on our door, and told us that our son was around the corner with his guts hanging out." So
Wow.
that's what directed the police to go see that lady.
Wow.
Boom. So when the police went to see that lady knew who I was.
Right.
So she said my name.
Right.
Um, they did a canvas, and for those who don't know, a canvas is when you go and knock on every door in the buildings that they feel could see the incident. So possible witnesses, they knocked on all their doors and questioned whoever answered about the incident, and they produced a couple more witnesses. But those witnesses didn't know me from a can of paint.
Okay.
They just was going by what they heard and saw.
Okay.
Okay. Now, from the excuse me, from the witness that said me, that led them looking for me. Um, I ended up getting arrested later on that day. My co-defendant name was not produced, neither from the witness or the other witnesses who didn't know anybody. They
Right.
didn't know they didn't know anybody by name.
Right.
Um, so I get arrested. I did not have any legal training back then,
Okay.
but street knowledge. When I got to be able to make a phone call, I called, said, "Yo, tell them," because they still had my car.
Okay.
I said, "Tell them to bring my car home because I don't want the police pulling the car over."
So when you say they, you're talking about choking the young lady.
No, no, my co-defendant, because my co-defendant
Okay.
actually had possession of the car.
Okay.
I was locked up. My co-defendant was still out there. He had the keys to the car.
Okay. So he
So
took
I'm
it from
like,
Choke, because Choke, you said, had the car when the incident
no,
actually happened.
yeah,
Excuse me.
he just jumped in to drive. So
Okay.
once I got back, I took possession and everything. And then once I got locked up, my co-defendant had the car.
Okay. I got it.
So they didn't do what I said. Now, going by my paperwork again, because I have to say this because someone listening will be like, "How you know that happened? How you know that happened?" Since I was already locked up. So, going by my paperwork, um, someone called anonymous, and they said my co-defendant's name.
Wow.
Um, another someone said my uncle's name that he was there. I don't remember, but they went and talked to my uncle,
Okay.
and my uncle said my name, of course, and he said my co-defendant's name.
Okay.
So, but they didn't run up on my co-defendant's crib or nothing. I don't know why, because I don't remember as far as I don't have the paperwork in front of me, so I can't say, well, they said his name on the first or the second or the third,
Okay.
But um, my co-defendant did a illegal U-turn in front of the precinct, got a ticket, and when they asked him to produce, the paperwork, license, registration, all this stuff,
Right.
he gave them my license. They was like, "Are you Johnny?" He's like, "Nah, he's home sleep." So, matter of fact, that was the same day. Now that I remember, because um, when the police got back, I don't know what they was doing in the precinct or whatever, but one of the police heard that Johnny Bunting got arrested for murder, and he was like, "I just pulled over a car that belonged to him. They said he was home sleep." It's like,
Wow.
nah, he just gave my co-defendant tickets and, let him go on his way.
Right.
So then the police told him, well, listen, if you see that car again, pull it over because there may be evidence in it. Because, the witnesses said they saw a bat. And of course, a knife was used.
Okay.
So they figured that this might be in the car.
Right.
Boom. Um, a few days later, I got arrested on the first. I think it was the 5th or the 6th that they pulled the car over. Um, my co-defendant was driving. Dennis was driving. Choke was in the passenger seat. Now, at the time, I'm telling you, I was locked up. Somebody dropped my co-defendant's name uh, 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 anonymously, and my uncle mentioned my name and my co-defendant's name. All this is supported by paperwork.
Okay.
So Choke name wasn't mentioned, nor was he actually there at the crime scene.
Okay.
Boom. But he's there in the car when the police are, pulling over for questioning.
Okay.
So this is where speculation comes in.
All right.
Uh, they pull my co-defendant out of the car, tell him they want to ask him about a murder. Now, my paperwork supports this. My co-defendant said, "Four stabbed him. I hit him with a bat." That was his pre-Miranda statement.
Okay.
Boom. Nothing else, you know. Now, Arthur somehow ends up in the precinct. I don't know. I don't know how.
Arthur is
So,
no choke. It's choke, no joke.
yeah, choke no joke, ends up out of the passenger seat into the witness stand.
Wow.
Somehow he ends up in the precinct talking about uh, um, that we jumped out the car.
Wait, before you go there, let me be fair. Let me be fair. Because,
Okay.
here's why I want to be fair. At the end of the day, everybody has to be held accountable for the shit that they do. So it's
Yes.
like, if you do, like, I believe in the game, in parts of the game, there's even rules to the game. Even if there's rules in war. In America, if America has a fight with another country, there's rules to it. I think it's, I forgot what it's called, but there are rules
Yeah,
that you,
it's rules of engagement.
right.
Yeah, they got an
So there,
article on
right,
war.
there it is. So there are rules to everything. So my rule with this is I do not want to slander him without having evidence or without being fair. I don't respect how he moves. But at the end of the day, I'm not going to let him change who I am as far as being honest and being fair about it. So the reason why I'm saying this to you is because how he got into the precinct, because it's obvious to me, because I've been in situations similar to that before. If your car was involved with a murder, your co-defendant confessed. He's a passenger in that car. Police is taking his ass in too. Otherwise, if they didn't, he would have been a rat from the door. You understand what I'm saying? Like, so it's a no-brainer how he ended up in the precinct. He's in a car that was involved in a murder, and the nigga just said, "Yo, I hit a nigga with a bat, and my man stabbed him." Of course, they taking him in. So I can't fault him for that. You know what I'm saying? He was going to get questioned no matter how you looked at it. How he stood up at the end of the day
And
is another story. But be
now,
fair. You know what I'm saying?
okay, and I will be fair right along with you.
Okay, cool.
There- There's 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 three words. There's two 3-word phrases.
Okay.
I don't know. I wasn't there.
Okay, cool.
If if he would have used those three, because there was no proof of him being knowing anything or being anywhere.
Right. But you know some niggas ain't built like that because they conscience start kicking in and then they start saying to themselves, like, I know I was really there, so let me just go ahead and tell it. Like everybody ain't
You're,
built the same, son. You know that.
you're, and you're right. And the police aren't stupid. They got tactics and
Exactly.
so on. So they may have told him that someone put you there
Right.
or someone, because when I first exposed him, he was trying to say that I put him there.
Right.
But then he was saying produce paperwork, produce. And then once I produced paperwork for the investigation, which supported everything I was saying and supported that no one knew of him, then it's like, okay. And the bad part about it on my behalf is that I did all the motherfucking time. And
But
then
before you go there again, let me keep
prove,
you on track.
prove it.
I'm sorry, black man. I gotta do this. Let me keep you on
Okay.
track. We're gonna start back from where he's now
Okay.
mysteriously in the precinct.
You're right. You're right. You're right. I jumped
Yeah.
too far.
Okay.
Okay. So he gets into the precinct and they ask him whatever they ask him. And he leaves a statement. Now, um, the first the written statement that was taken by the police basically said that um, we chased him around the corner. Um, he didn't see what happened. Then I came back. I had a pouch. I left the car with a knife pouch. That's what it said. A knife pouch
And this
in
is
my hand.
this is what he wrote as a statement for the police.
He didn't write it with his hand. The police wrote it,
Okay.
but they recorded it from
His mouth.
his words.
Right. That's crazy because he got something right now talking with R. Kelly from my mouth or some old stupid shit he's saying. So it's funny what his mouth do, huh?
So he basically said, I went around the corner. He didn't see nothing. I came back with blood, but he saw me carrying a knife pouch.
Right.
Boom. So um, I get arrested. I didn't. They hid that paperwork from me. I didn't see that paperwork until after trial.
Okay.
So, it was a surprise to me. And the funny thing is, the female that was in the car, I had called her. She before any of this happened. I'm talking about shortly after my co-defendant got arrested.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I found out he got arrested from her. She
Right.
told me he got arrested. She said that he said, "Yeah, I don't give a fuck. I ain't going down with them." Boom. And she originally told me that he was telling.
Your
I
co-defendant as well or Choke?
No, Choke. She told me because Choke didn't get arrested.
Right.
So, but he went into the precinct. So she said that he said, "Yo, I don't give a fuck. I ain't going down with them." So it's safe to assume that the police tried to run that shit on him.
Right.
You're in the car. You're going down unless you could tell us something. It's
Right.
safe to assume that. Like,
I mean, that's definitely a safe assumption, because if he was in
and,
that car when it got pulled over, he was going to get locked up. Now, whether he
right,
got kept or not was another story. But you're definitely going to go down to the precinct in a car that was used in a murder, and the
right,
driver is the suspect,
right. So it's safe to assume that. Like, that's
without a
being
doubt.
fair.
Without a doubt.
Now, what you do after that, that's
Whole different story.
where he could have went in there and just like, you listen, I just got in the car 10 minutes ago.
Right.
I don't know nothing.
Right.
But his statement to the girl, like, yo, I don't give a fuck. I ain't going down with them.
Right.
That led her to believe that he was telling. And she conveyed that assumption to me. And I said, no, he ain't telling.
Right.
I didn't believe her. And like I said, it took over a year for me to find out because they didn't give me that paperwork.
So, okay, let's move on now to when did you actually find out? Like, let's not use assumptions or use what someone said to you. When did you have it as a fact that he told?
Well, when we was getting ready for trial and they were talking about a witness list, who they was having come in, they were saying his name. So I'm like, I wasn't
Who
called
are
any
they?
witness.
Who are they?
The people, the prosecutor.
And what was his name?
His name is Arthur Alston, Arthur D. Alston.
Okay.
So when my lawyer was saying they're going to call Arthur D. Alston to the stand, do you know what he's going to say? I didn't know. So I called. I called. Back then, there used to be phone booths on the block that we
Right.
had numbers. So I'm
Right.
like, yo, I'm gonna call 228th Street and look for him.
Right.
A lot of people used to do that from jail. They'll call the corner.
Without a doubt.
Or 228, 222nd, 229th. I mean, you call each corner looking for a motherfucker.
Right.
So I called the corners. I caught up with him. He said that they was threatening them and all that to get him to come to court. And I said, all right. Now, in my head, I was 18 at the time. So in the 18-year-old head, I still wasn't calling him a snitch in my head.
Right.
I was believing what he was saying as far as him being put in a catch-22. And I'm like, all right, well, listen, come to court, but I want you to say this.
Right.
So to sabotage the situation, you're gonna satisfy the DA's part by coming, because he was talking about they're gonna lock me up, they're gonna give me perjury, they're gonna do this. He was saying a whole bunch of shit. So I'm like, this motherfucker's scared. So if he come and he get on the stand and he say this shit is gonna help me.
Right.
He was like, and I was like, yo, don't worry about perjury, because perjury's a fine, man. I'll pay the fucking fine. But just, I need you to say this.
Right.
So I'm thinking, I got a trick for their ass. He's gonna come, but he's really my witness. He's gonna say what the fuck I want him to say.
So wait a minute.
So,
Let me break this down in a street nigga mentality. So basically, what you're saying is that because you felt like you fucked with him, this was your man, y'all was running around in the streets together, you was getting ready to do the flip shit. Like, yo, listen, I know this my man. He gonna hold me down, so I'm gonna let him come in and testify, or let them think he's gonna testify, and he's not gonna do that because he's going to be on my behalf. Correct?
right, he's gonna flip the story that goes in my favor.
Right. I got it.
So this is my warped thinking. Like, yo, yeah, this like straight out of a John Grisham movie. I don't give a fuck. Like,
Yo,
let's
but
go.
you know what, son? Listen, on some real shit. Like, at the end of the day, you know something I learned in this business, and I don't want to take it too far off the topic, but something that I've learned in this business, and it was somebody that was older that also told me this, and it's a female lawyer, and I respect this lady. I respect her. Like, she's older. A lot of my training have come from women. Like, women just have insight and wisdom that's amazing sometimes. And she says to me, she says she never gets involved or likes her clients, because what ends up happening is they fool her all the time, because they're only her clients and in her circle because she's defended them in the first place, and half of them are liars. So one of her staunchest things is to never like that person, because when you like that person, you get fooled. So even in the game, son, like, that could be your man and all that, but you really can't really like hold it down with a nigga like that, because what ends up happening is what ends up happening with you thinking your man is gonna hold you down. Because when them people put them pressure on niggas, they fold, son. Niggas fold. All that you my man shit, that shit be bullshit. Yo, you been locked, you did 25 years. I ain't did nothing like 25 years, but I'm gonna tell you something, son. At the end of the day, it be a bitch that holds you down. I don't give a fuck what a nigga say. Nigga, I don't give a fuck. It be a bitch that holds you down. And I'm not even trying to say it in a derogatory sense or disrespectful towards a female. We talking on some street shit, so I'm gonna just keep it street. Yo, outside of that, it be your mama. And that has to be most of the time when you be a good nigga. But it don't be no niggas. Sometimes and very rarely a nigga make sure you got commissary money. He bump into your girl and give her some money if he ain't trying to fuck her. But that's just that's how the game go. You know what I'm saying? These are the things that come with the game. So, yo, I mean, I can't knock you for the way you think, and I'm not even, I'm not even really. At the end of the day, we doing what we doing, but I'm not even knocking that nigga for doing what he did, because that's what he was supposed to do, because that's how he built. Like in the game, you got cops and robbers, you got snitches and rats, you got honorable and integrity. You know what I'm saying? You got niggas that get money, and then you got niggas that get sneaker money. All of that shit is a part of the game, so you got to be prepared for it all. But you just can't like any of them motherfuckers. And I know that shit sounds foul, but not liking the motherfuckers will keep you on point and keep your ass out of jail. Because if you would approach that nigga the way a nigga you would now, like we got nigga senses now, like you could just look at a nigga and tell in 3 seconds, I ain't fucking with you. I don't like
Yeah.
you. You know what I mean? Because you already know.
Yep.
Because you been through it already, you know this nigga weak, son. Oh, I'm gonna fuck with this nigga on some business shit, but I ain't gonna make it personal. We ain't about to be calling and all that shit. You gonna be an associate. Because I'm gonna keep my ass the way it's supposed to be. So for the sake of that argument, Choke did what niggas like him do. So you can't even really be mad. I can say you can't be mad. You can't say that because you did 25 years. So you mad as hell. I get it. But I'm sorry for interjecting. Go ahead and finish what you were saying.
No, that's fine. You dropped it.
So when did you?
When he came to court, so that's where I was at. When
Okay.
he came to court and he got on the stand,
Wow.
and they started asking him questions. Where were you at? And then he's like, on Baychester. Who was in the car? Then he started naming people in the car. Boom, 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 boom. Now, at first, this to me it didn't seem. It just seemed like he was leading them to the point where he's gonna flip it.
Right.
So all of that didn't seem like nothing to me. Like, yeah, whatever. Boom. He's just saying, oh, Johnny's, Dennis, a female, myself. Boom. And then when they said, what happened? They jumped out the car, and I didn't ran around the corner. I didn't see nothing. So I'm like, hold on a second. That he fucked up there. But I didn't know law, so I didn't know the degree of the fuck up. I thought it was a small fuck up.
Right.
But that was something large.
Right.
I was thinking because he didn't say I actually did it, I still got a chance. He just got me running out of the car, chasing him. But I had originally told him, listen, say you dropped me off at the motel, you took my car, you didn't see me nowhere. So once he started deviating from that, at first I was just thinking, all right, well, he's going to flip it something a little similar, but not, because once he said, I ain't see nothing else, I'm thinking, okay, all right, well, he's saying he ain't see nothing. But then when they come back with blood on his shirt, I'm like, oh, we didn't talk about this. Like, where's the blood? And then they brought him back, and he started saying the pouch.
Wow.
I'm like, no, but I still didn't know the significance of it. I knew, in my head already, he was a rat. But I still thought that I could win. I just like, yo, listen, this dude is weak.
But you know why?
Well,
Again, I want you to continue the story. We're gonna stop where you said you had a pouch and the blood on your shirt. It's because you like that nigga. And that's how niggas like that do. They get you to like them first and then you buy into liking them without realizing that you like them. You understand? Like you like the nigga enough to let the nigga even ride with you. Because if you didn't like the
right.
nigga, he wouldn't even been in your motherfucking car. But
You're
because
right.
you like this nigga, your mind play tricks on you. It's like you know
You're
the
right.
nigga a bitch.
Right.
You know this nigga got weak
Because
characteristics.
my other guys I was running with, my other boys liked them. Like one
Right,
lived in a building, the other one they went to school. I didn't go to school with them.
right. I get
So
it.
it's like, I don't know. Matter of fact, that's a lie. That's a misstatement. That's not a lie. I did go to school because we all went to the same high school.
Right,
Um, but I didn't fuck with him at school. But we did go to the same high school.
right,
But it's like, because they liked him so much, I'm like, well, he's all right. If they fuck
right.
with him like that, he cool.
Exactly.
And he the only one beside myself that had a driver's license.
Exactly.
So, you got a driver's license. I got a driver's license. If I'm not around, you could drive the car, and I ain't got to worry about, because my co-defendant was driving the car, but he didn't have a license.
Right. So he was a liability when it came to that, especially if your
Right.
niggas got
So I'm
work and
like, what?
shit. Right. I
What?
get it.
So you're right. I bought into
You bought into
the
a nigga
shit.
that was jokey, doing some clown shit, cool with everybody. So you figure you just let the nigga in and you don't realize what happened. And you know what? Today he still has those characteristics because there's a lot of people that like him. He's a likable person. The nigga fooled me. I ain't even gonna lie to you because you just look at that persona and in a way I see clown. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like the nigga. One day you want to be a pimp with your hair out, with straight and the shit. The next day you want to be a thug, rapping some the ha 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 shit from the urban cowboy 1960 ass bullshit. So to me, you borderline clown, so you're not a threat. You let your
Right.
guard down, and then that's when niggas
Exactly.
like that hit you. That's what he did.
So he did that. Um um the female that ran around the corner, I mean that went to the deceased house,
Mm-hmm.
she put the nail in the coffin. Boom. Cause she outright was like, yo, him, boom, he did it, he did this, bang, bang, bang. So um when I got convicted, I came up north and went to the law library and was showing my papers and all that. And that's when I really, learned the significance of what he said.
And
And
what he did,
so,
so he testified basically against you.
of course, he was the people's. I didn't have no witnesses.
Wow. And his name is on your paperwork.
Absolutely.
Wow. So let me ask you this, man. I mean, that's enough as far as for me, as far as I'm concerned. That's enough because people will be able to see the paperwork and decide for
Yeah.
themselves. Have you ever confronted him since then? Have you talked to him, spoken to him since then?
Well, when I first came home, let me back up. When I came back down on Rikers Island in '92, so I got convicted in '90, arrested in '89, convicted in '90, came back in '92 for family court. I had a mutual friend, a good friend of mine that's tight with him, brought him to see me. So I spoke to him, and I also had my cousin step to him about recanting the statement because I pointed out to him like, listen, although you didn't mean it, this hurt. You put me at the scene of the crime. The one thing about the crackhead, the lady that ran to the house, she was a known crackhead, and she had picked out the photo of somebody else first. And she picked me out of a lineup. But because she had conflicting identification, that was something that I might have been able to get around at trial. But he put the nail in the coffin because he put me at the scene of the crime, had me chasing the deceased around the corner, the same corner that she said she saw this, that, and the third happen. and to bolster her identification, he said he knew me for years from going to school with me. So it wasn't like it was his first time seeing me. She just seen me around the neighborhood. He like, yo, we went to school together. I knew him for some years. And he was in the car with me. He jumped out the car, chased him around the corner.
And
Come back
came
with
back
blood
with
on it.
blood on his shirt.
Right.
Wow.
So you just made all her testimony good with what she said happened.
Wow. You know
So
the irony of this, and the reason why. Let me just break down why I'm even coming at you and why I came at you, because I want to be transparent as possible. You know, like I said, I was on his platform. He's right now champion for R. Kelly, and you know, R. Kelly is going through whatever he's going through, and the way I feel about it is, unfortunately, he got caught up in the system. I don't think they got him the right way. That's just how I feel. I feel like if you're gonna get somebody, you need to get them, and you need to get them 100% right. They didn't. So his help is something that I would assume that R. Kelly would appreciate. However, part of the reason why R. Kelly is in jail is because there were people who told on him, rats. And I say that they're rats confidently simply because while you were doing whatever you were doing, be it good or bad, you wasn't saying anything. But when it got bad, you decided to tell. And they told in droves. So Choke is no different than one of those people who told on R. Kelly in the first place. So I don't understand how someone who's a confidential informant, a snitch, a rat, can sit down and defend someone and then not think that that person will find out. That is crazy to me. And because of you being so bold with it, it's like an insult to people who know better. Because I've been in the streets for a long time, dog. Like, and at the end of the day, you know, I've been in the streets, I've been in the streets, put it that way. And my products are street products. I'm sure that you've read some of my magazines in jail.
I sure have.
You know what I'm saying? So niggas already know what I represent and what it is. For him not to know that, or for him to bypass it, pissed me off. For him to also say, well, I am going to get on your show and not do it. And I think what happened is he let time lapse and he probably figured out, damn, this nigga might find out some shit. Because I tell you, the day after I got on this show, two niggas called me and was like, Shabazz, what the fuck is you doing? Like, because you know what? My product says we don't believe in rats. We don't believe in
Right.
snitching. My shit is like the Bible for niggas that is of that lifestyle. It blew up into that. And let me just say for the record, that don't make me special. I learned what I learned coming from another company, and I'm never going to shit on the company I came from. I came from Don Diva, and they had a strict no snitching policy. I remember when we did a report one time on Alpone, and they wrote snitch across the nigga face and printed it. I see this nigga getting on his page one day defending how could you say that he was a snitch? Like, nigga, like, and that was suspect to me right there. Like, yo, dog, like, what the fuck is you doing? Like, I can understand that he was a human being, but at the end of the day, he was still accountable for what he did, and he ratted on niggas. He's standing there trying to justify why people should feel a certain way and not label him as a rat. And it all came 360 full circle now, because you're a rat too.
Right.
So when you birds of a,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Like, and here's what's crazy. Yo, son, if you Google this nigga's name and you put Choke No Joke and rat behind it, or Choke No Joke, snitch behind it, it pops right up. Do you know how many people this nigga have fooled? There are thousands of so-called investigators and sleuths, bloggers on the R. Kelly team, and ain't nobody said, let me dig this nigga information up. They went with it. And every time you turn around, he on some R. Kelly from my mouth. R. Kelly this, R. Kelly that. But at the end of the day, it's also, what's that shit? Not Cash at me. What's that shit? GoFundMe. Or what's that shit when you asking for money on
Yeah,
the
he
screen?
um he does Cash App. He does
Yeah, Cash App. You Cash Apping. And I'm not knocking the nigga hustle. If people Cash App, yo, that's your business. If you got information and you selling it or whatever, or however you get your money, you get your money. I'm not knocking that hustle. I just don't do that. You know what I mean? Like, I'm in this game to play this game for real. And at the end of the day, for me, some things, and I'm not being disrespectful towards anybody, let it be clear, but I'm not playing for nigga money. I'm playing for money. Like, nigga money is an Escalade and a nice house and all that. I've been there, done that when I was 19. Like, when these white folks get on, they have they shit. You don't never see a Cash App on nobody's fucking screen. These motherfuckers is getting deals from Barstool Sports, and they're getting deals from
Right.
fucking Puffy and what Revolt and the Breakfast Club. Millions of dollars from running their motherfucking mouth. And you ain't never seen not one of them say Cash App me shit. So if you're gonna
Right.
play in the game, nigga, play in the game to play for real, for real. I'm not playing in the game to be just on some shit. And then the flip side to that is if you really trying to help a nigga, why is you asking for money?
Right.
Because you're not helping me if you getting paid for it. That's not help. It don't matter if that man is paying you or not. If you are cash apping in regards to R. Kelly, you are not helping R. Kelly. You helping your motherfucking self. And if that's how you move, that's how you move. I'm not even mad at that. But be what it is, son. You can't play two sides of the fence. And if you want to play two sides of the fence, you got to know who the fuck you playing with. You understand what I'm saying? Like, I know you a murker nigga. Nigga, I'm not running in your house and stealing shit. Because I already know you gonna kill me. You know what I'm saying? I know the consequences to my acts. If I disrespect you in a way that now makes you want to kill me, I brought that shit on myself because I knew. And if I didn't know, I should have knew what I was fucking with from the door.
Right.
So there ain't no excuse for it. And that's the kind of shit that I just don't like. And because brothers have phones in jail, somebody need to let R. Kelly hear this. Somebody needs to let R. Kelly look at this man's paperwork. You bloggers, you sleuths, you investigators, you pro R. Kelly people, even if you're con R. Kelly people, you think about it. How do you respect anybody who's a confidential informant or a known rat to defend somebody? Because in a court of law, his credibility would be shot. Any lawyer would destroy him as soon as they brought up confidential informant. You feel what I'm saying? So how much time did you end up getting?
I did. I had 20 to life was my actual sentence.
God damn.
I did 25 years, 7 months, and 5 days, man.
God damn,
I
son.
don't know how many hours, but
God damn, son. Yo, god damn. So, dog, how do you like keep it 100 with me? How do you feel about doing that time, man? Any bitterness?
well, I spent my last 6 years in a box, SHU, however you want to call it, the whole
For
whatever.
what you do?
Um, I was into UCC. I don't know if you know what that is.
Nah, hit me with it. What is it?
It's basically claiming the rights to your name and your sovereignty. And
Okay. I heard of that. Is that like an Israelite?
no, it's not religious at all.
Okay.
But dealing with sovereignty, claiming yourself as your own state.
Okay. So that's like those brothers that be like, will go find a house or find some property and come up with some fucking law from 1910 and say that they own it. Similar?
Those things might come into play, but it goes into common law. So it goes back into common law, and it breaks down a whole lot of stuff with the United States currency, a whole bunch of fraud shit that the United States has been perpetuating on the citizens forever.
Okay.
And
So you
they
wanted
don't
them,
like
you wanted them
these things.
you wanted them intellectual brothers that dig up history and go back in the books and use their laws against them.
Right.
Okay, I get it.
So they buried me with that.
Wow.
But that just made me even more dangerous because I went from being dangerous to people physically to being dangerous intellectually.
Right.
And it's like, and to be perfectly honest, I was an honest student before I got into selling drugs. So I always was smart. I just did some dumb shit.
Right. As do most black men. So, I respect and I salute that. But as there's a lot of us that have intelligence and we make the wrong choices, man. And this is unfortunate.
So, um, I was not bitter because I've seen guys who were bitter and I didn't want to become them.
Right.
I was eating them up.
Right.
So when I came home, the same brother that brought him to see me,
Mm-hmm.
I contacted him and had him put me on a 3-way with Choke because my ideology of it was like, yo, listen, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna come home, I'm gonna get into some type of a conversation with him so I can get closure because I'm going on a mission.
Right.
And I don't need to have this hanging over my head. I need to be able to forgive so I can move on.
Right. Got it.
So I spoke to him and he brought up an old conversation that I had. I had a female call him on the 3-way. And then when the conversation was over, he didn't hang up.
Right.
And she was like, yo, why you had me call this rat motherfucker? So, he was tight about that.
But it is what it is. Let me tell you, you know why I believe that? Because one of R. Kelly's sisters, and let me just say this too, I don't really care what people say, whether it's his sisters or it's not. R. Kelly has accepted them women, and that's good enough for me, be it whether they're biological or not. That has nothing to do with me. That man accepted his sisters. So one of his sisters was going to meet him, and I think they were in Atlanta, or they were in Atlanta. And this was not too long ago. And in that process, I don't know if she said something to him, he said something to her, but he disrespected her. And he played her like she was just, he disrespected her. And she called me. And she was like, yo, this nigga said yada, 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 da, da, da. So now be mindful. I still know what the nigga did. I already know that he a rat because I got them phone calls. But I'm chilling. I'm not saying nothing. And the reason why I'm not saying nothing is because I'm going to wait till he get on my podcast, and I would have kept it fair and just asked him. I wouldn't have attacked him. But I think that his nigga senses let him know, like, nah, I know what this nigga gonna do. So I'm not doing that show because I actually texted him. And he was like, well, I'm getting ahead of the story. So when she called me, I texted nigga on some real G shit, like, yo, son, what up? You having a problem with the sisters? And he was like, what? He texts back, what? And I'm like, what? Nigga, you can hear what the fuck I said. Like, you doing all this reading letters and all this shit. What the fuck you mean, what? Nigga, you having a problem with the sisters or what? So this nigga texts my text, he copies my text and sends it to the sister. Guess what she do? She texts me back his text he texted her with me checking his ass about her in the first place. So he pulled the bitch move. Yep. And it's like, yo, dog, like, what part of the game is that? Because, nigga, listen, if you are what you are. So if you're going to disrespect a woman, disrespect a nigga too. Like, if you're going to call this female a bitch, and I'm not saying it because we just use that in our language, and it doesn't mean necessarily anything facetious. But I'm saying when you use it with the context of bitch to be derogatory in this young lady's face, if she go home and get a nigga say the same shit to the nigga she bring.
Right.
Make me a believer, nigga. Like, you aren't gonna, if I'm gonna call the bitch a bitch, I'm gonna call your man a bitch too. Fuck you bringing this nigga for? You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna show you that it's equal opportunity bitchness going around in this motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? But son, instead of him doing that, he gonna now cop a plea. So when I hit him with it, he called me on the phone. And I still got the text. I saved it because if he tried to deny anything, I could prove what I'm saying. He called me. He said some shit. Oh, I'm irritated right now. So, dog, I'm just telling you before we start this conversation, I'm irritated. I said, yo, son, I understand. I could respect that because I've been in situations like that. But whatever the case is, yo, what the fuck you doing talking to her like that? That's exactly what I said to him. Like, I don't give a fuck about that you irritated shit, nigga. You didn't give her no disclaimer, so why you giving me a disclaimer? Fuck you talking to her like that for? The nigga had some bitch shit in him, hung up the phone like a fucking faggot. Then he turns around, he texts my phone. Yo, I can't do your show because of the way you came at me. Yo, dog, you know what you just came at this young lady with? That was his way to get out of it. Like, so everything about this dude to me is just suspect. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying anything, so don't nobody take it and be like, yo, he said faggot and he said, yo, this is some street shit. We on the streets. So anybody can take it, is it being derogatory? I don't give a fuck about nobody's sexuality, and that's not what I mean when I say that. But the nigga a faggot. Straight up and down. Bottom line. You know what I'm saying? And
Yo,
then what's crazy about it is you don't fuck with the streets with street niggas. In addition to you, I know another nigga, blood nigga. And let me just give this disclaimer. I'm not advocating anybody do anything to Arthur Alston, choke no joke. Ain't nobody trying to do nothing to you, son. Like, and niggas ain't trying to attack you or kill you because you got enough niggas in line waiting to tear your ass up. I know that for a fact. Just like I was going to say, it's a blood nigga that went in on your ass. Niggas is sitting down laying on you because of the shit that you do, son. And I'm saying to the people that listen, nobody is saying, don't touch that nigga. Leave him alone. Let that nigga be. But you just know how he is. So the best way and the best thing to do is just don't fuck with him. But he can't fuck with no street niggas. Because you see how we together right now?
yo, there was a joint last year that they was trying to put together some celebrity boxing. BLK Prime.
Okay.
And I contacted them and said, listen, I'll fight Choke. You could get him to accept. You can put me on it. He was like, you think he'll accept? I was like, I don't know. You know, is money involved? He might go for the money. Like, it's more than what he's getting. He
Right.
might get knocked the fuck out for, a couple, 10, 20 stacks.
Right.
I sent word through my boy. He declined. And I was like, yo, listen. I said, man, and I'm gonna keep it real with you. I said, this is what you could do. Like, because he was making some songs. I made a song dissing him. This had nothing to do with the BLK joint. But I was like, yo, listen, you could turn this into a media joint because this is real. Like some of these guys have internet beef and it ain't no real beef.
Right.
They had an argument and then they just keep stringing it along for views.
Right.
Like, yo, he really testified against me. Like, I said, listen, man, you can make another song dissing me. This is what I'm telling my boy, that's his boy. I was like, yo, he can make another song. Like, he could turn this into a media circus. But when we get in that ring, I'm going to try to kill him.
Right.
I was like, so I'm just letting you know straight up and down, I'm not going to play in the ring. Everything else he can do to make money, I don't care.
Right.
But once we get in there, I'm going to try to hurt him really bad. Because that would be my way of getting my shit off legally with no ramification.
Right.
Like, yo, he signed a waiver, whatever happens in the ring, we didn't break any law.
And he refused that.
And he didn't go for it.
Wow.
But that's to let you know, because he talked that shit, saying suck this and all this violations. And it's like, and there's guys that know us both that told me, yo, when I see him, I'm gonna punch him in his face. Like,
right.
like,
but nah, I'm not. But
it,
listen, we not doing that. We not even like on some real nigga shit. I hear you, and I don't mean to disrespect you and cut you off, but we not even advocating that shit because you know what?
Right.
We on tape, and this shit'll come back. You know what I'm saying? He ratted on your ass daylight in the car. He gonna save this shit. Fuck that. Don't touch that nigga.
And that's the main reason why I was like, yo, I'll do it where we both sign up for it. He was doing training or whatever he was doing on his little videos, lifting weights and doing that. Like, yo, he can do all that shit.
Fuck all that shit, nigga. What that shit mean? That shit don't mean nothing. What the fuck do that mean? Because a nigga lift weights or a nigga big. What the fuck? I'm a skinny nigga. What the fuck do that mean?
Yeah, I done beat up a lot of motherfuckers that's bigger than me.
I ain't going to say all that. You know what I'm saying? Because I ain't even know. Like, yo, dog, I'm not a gangster. Like, I'm not even trying to front. I'm just a man. So I'm going to do what a man do. I'm not going to say I'm going to beat your ass. I'm not doing none of that. I'm just a man. So whatever your definition of a man is what it is. And my definition of a man say, because a nigga can lift weights, what that mean?
Right.
That don't mean shit. Like, nigga, you be in the yard. I done see niggas that can bench 400 pounds. I'm on the bar. These niggas can't do 2 pull-ups.
Right.
Real talk. You can't pull your body weight up twice on the pull-up bar, but you can bench 400 pounds. So that just tell me, nigga, I can't let you grab me because
Yeah.
you gonna bench me too. But I know that inner strength you can't fuck with. You know what I'm saying? And that's not being a gangster, none of that kind of shit. So at the end of the day, man, I don't want to make this like an attack, and I can't help but to vent about it because I felt betrayed, and I just feel even a little more betrayed about it because I simply just really believe that I don't care if it's R. Kelly, I don't care if it's Jesus Christ, I don't care if it's Pookie off the block. Like at the end of the day, you got to get whoever you got to get them the right way. And part of the reason why black men get caught up in the shit we get caught up is because of frauds, people like Choke, people misrepresenting themselves, and we get caught up in that instead of staying focused to what it is. Because the nigga just came through and he garnered and gathered thousands of people to believe that bullshit he talking. And nobody did their homework. And that's just bad for black people because we'll just allow anybody to come in, have a slick tongue or a little fucking jokey joke, and we accept them.
You're right. Because what I was saying earlier when I jumped the gun is that when I came on the scene with it, people were saying that I was clout chasing, that I was trying to get like trying to extort him,
For
like trying to
what,
get.
son? Like that nigga, because he was with Rockefeller. Well, he was a cameraman for Dame. I know Dame. I know Jay. Nigga, my name carry motherfucking weight. And not weight because I sold 1 million keys or I shot 100 niggas. Because I put in work with my motherfucking product. So
Right.
fucking what? Like, it's hot. Like when people say that kind of shit, that shit is bananas. Because like, how you gonna catch clout off of a nigga that's a comedian?
Right, but I didn't have any internet clout.
Fuck
So
the internet.
I'm just the dude who the city knows. Like you know
I
me in
hear
the
what you're
street.
saying, though. I hear what you're saying.
Right. So I had to prove that I'm not a snitch. I had to prove that he is a snitch. I had to prove, it's like, I got to prove everything. And then once I did, you got real motherfuckers like I'm talking about some celebrities that reached out and was like, yo, yeah, they don't want to go on,
Record.
but they support me. Like, yo, yeah, you was right, bro.
Hey,
You did that.
listen to me. I did the R. Kelly documentary, and it's on my mama. Nigga, out of 10 niggas, 7 niggas would be like, yo, Baz, I got you. I understand what you're saying, but I can't say that, son. And the
Right.
reason why is because in they backyard, and I'm not even gonna never out the niggas, but it's because in they backyard, they done did what R. Kelly is accused of. Niggas ain't checking
Right.
IDs for no fucking female. Nigga dick get hard, she 15, 16 and looking like she 20. Nigga fucking. He not stopping and saying, wait a minute, let me see your ID. You know how often that shit happens? That shit still happens today. But if a nigga stand up and try to defend R. Kelly, they know the public is getting ready to attack their ass. But deep
Right.
in their hearts, when they around the right nigga, they know what niggas is telling the truth and who's real and who's not. So they're gonna support you, but they're gonna really do it from a distance. So I can
Right.
respect it. I understand. I believe you 100%. But listen, man, we got to wrap this up. I need you to give all your links, your social media, how motherfuckers can get in contact with you if they want to give questions or whatever. It's your floor.
Okay. My YouTube, Johnny Bunting Jr. The Force. That's where you'll get the information with Choke No Joke. You'll get to see my video, my rap video, dissing them. You get a couple of interviews where I did something with Jojo Capone on Instagram. That's on my YouTube page, and some other stuff where you'll see some stuff that I do and stuff with Choke No Joke. I'm on Instagram. My Instagram is I'm looking at it right now. Either Bunting Enterprises, because I'm a businessman also, or Force underscore 1141. That's Force underscore 1141. Um, my name is Johnny Bunting Jr., so I'm also on Facebook. You can check me out on Facebook. And those are all those ways that you could send me messages, texts, what have you. And
That's
if
what's up,
anybody
man.
wants me on their show or podcast or whatever, you can holler at me.
And you know what? I hope people holler at you because you know what, yo, it's just about keeping it 100. And I'm not even on no like fuck shit where it's like don't fuck with them or don't like nigga. If you want to get your story, I don't give a fuck who holler at you, or whatever. And if I could be the platform to allow that to happen, so be it. Because real niggas do real things. There's still some of us left, man. The world ain't
If
filled with suckers.
all about this dude, like I've done stuff for the community. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm making things happen, and that's why one of the things why people saying I was clout chasing, I was doing all this and I was doing all that. I had to point out even in my video when I was rapping about it, I'm driving Benzes, I'm wearing minks. I'm like, yo, listen, this dude he's worth about 25,000. I make that in a month. Like,
Son, I seen you counting the hundreds and all that. I seen all that.
Yeah.
But you know what? Yeah, well listen. In no disrespect, don't even come like that. Cause you know what? That be rubbing people like the money and the Benzes. Cause you know what? Honestly, a lot of people they don't got that, man. Niggas is struggling. You know what I'm saying? So like them kind of conversations I don't even fuck with. Like fuck what a nigga got, what you driving. Like as long as you can get around, and I'm not being disrespectful to you, and more power to you if that's what you got. But like trying to shine on that shit, nah, that ain't even cool. But listen, brother, I really respect you. Yo, unfortunately, I hate it. And let me say this too. Allah bless the soul that was taken from the young man doing whatever you did. You know, your kids, and it was young, but it was still another black man that was killed. And, you know, respect to his family and all the people involved. And respect to you, brother, because you did 25 years, man. And you can't get that time back, man. So, yo, that's a lot, man. I salute you for that. So listen, if there's anything that you need that I can assist you with, be it on my podcast or in my magazines, you let me know. You got a joint coming out, you want to get it promoted, whatever, I got you. Like, and I'm saying it on tape, nigga. I don't say shit on tape in front. Like, if I say that's what it is, nigga, that's what it is. I own my shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, I ain't got to ask nobody, no nothing. If I tell a nigga, you know, I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. Because that's what allows us to even exist, and especially in this genre. So just know.
I'm telling you now, I want to be in that magazine. I want the brothers from up north to see me.
I got you, son. I got you. Yeah, my next joint coming out now. We got BMF. I'm kind of delayed because I get one of my joints printed in China, and it's 45 days on the water just to get on the other side. So we were supposed to come out the end of December. I'm probably looking at fucking January right now because of the ships and COVID and all of that shit. And hopefully it won't be longer than that. And then the next one is 3 months later. So you got 4 months basically to put together a story, and we can run this story. And I'll print the paperwork. How about that?
That sounds fine with me.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that's not an issue. You got my number. You got my digits, man. Stay in touch. Keep your head out. Brother, don't kill no motherfucking body.
Hell no. Hell no.
Yo, thank you, man.
People live now.
Definitely. All right, brother. You have a good night, all right? All right, son.
You too,
Later.
my brother.